So that's the gardening dealt with. Let's go and talk to literally everybody else in Basin Keep. Time to be a loose cannon again.
I like how the immediate reaction to you showing up again is, oh, look, you fucked everything up for us last time and made everything a huge pain in my ass, but I guess I have another job for you.
Well, look, he's found work that's suited to our particular talents and style. Like, that's just being a good manager. You play to your strengths, and you play to your team's strengths. If you have a loose cannon on the team, you find stuff for them to fire at. I can't complain about this. Also, on top of everything else, the quest is interesting, so, you know, victories all around. And yes, it does take us back to this building again. And yeah, all I can think is why did the criminal birds stash the stuff on the roof rather than just flying it away to begin with? I don't understand how these guys work.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't, like, give you the choice of taking the stairs or doing the elevator.
Look, we've already had one, like, blatant Final Fantasy VII shout-out in this game. There's such a thing as too much, you know? But yes, that is a little bit sad. Anyway, before we get to the actual interesting part of any of this, we have to fight a couple of these guys. And they're not really any different to any of the many, many other variants of this that we've fought at this point. Except they have slightly higher stats, and I'm less incompetent at fighting them now.
I was gonna say, the only thing that seems to make this fight interesting is that there are... Well, I was gonna say that there are 4 of them.
I mean, there's 4 of them at a time.
I mean, there's 5 of them right now. Well, there were 5.
Okay, yeah, now there's 5.
But yeah.
The other big differentiator is that it has finally sunk in on me that the way that you break these guys is specifically by meleeing them when they're done with their firing cycle. Like, in the last one of these quests that I did, I kept on trying to break them with charge shots, which doesn't work. Even though the game tries to go out of its way to equate to the charge shot with the melee, impact-wise, but no, they're very different. So there's that. Also, yeah, the birds are very annoying about flying, but they only actually fly up when you try to rush them. If you just hang back and play the game, this whole thing just goes in. It just works out. So here's one of those times when we have to puzzle and fight at the same time, and frankly I dig it. This is a good side quest. The conceit is pretty easy to understand. We do some fighting, platform shows up, and we have to get one of the crates onto the platform. The whole thing's pretty firmly compartmentalized. You just need to actually take care of the, you know, actually doing the stuff part. And if you want to be efficient about it, you can solve a lot of these in advance of the platform showing up, because it's not that cryptic. But also there's no penalty for taking your time and only solving each one when the platform actually shows up. But the real kicker to this, and this is extremely game design, is that simply by virtue of the task that we're doing, the deeper we get into this, the less and less cover there is around the field. So for now, it's pretty easy to hide behind boxes and not get shot while we work. But if you don't keep on top of the birds as they spawn, this can quickly get the bad kind of interesting. All told, this is an actual good quest that I like. And also I did take 2 attempts to actually complete it. Just being upfront about that one. I have to be upfront about it because I kind of flawlessly edited the one take into the other take, so you might not actually know if I wasn't upfront about it. In summary, game design. Here's a puzzler though. Yeah, this one they had to throw in a teleporting one in here somehow. If only because the puzzles are all like, hey, let's use shock and wave stuff. So I guess there was just an obligation to have a wave box up here at some point.
So do we teleport all the fruit that was in the box with that when we move the box?
Look. Just don't, okay? Nothing good is gonna come out of this. Let's just assume that the properties of the wave box are transitive. That it's sealed with some kind of bullshit that makes it work that way. Not because there's any particularly strong evidence indicating that over some contrary contingency, but just because that's the only belief that's not going to end up being extremely painful for us to have to think through. Besides, I think having to be serious about considering this stuff kind of went out the window when we started doing the teleport conceit in the first place. Anyway, they get real mad when you get down to the last couple boxes, so, like... Don't take your eye off the ball. And yes, witness the value of peppermint tea as a healing item. As long as you can survive, like, the 5 seconds immediately after you drink it, you're basically golden. And that's it. Fruit defended? I'm still not really sure how the context of this whole thing works, but yeah, whatever.
Can we really say that we defended the fruit when we were actively taking it from them?
No, we covered the fruit's retreat. I feel like it was a missed opportunity that we didn't get to engage more directly with this apparent press. I feel like maybe it would have required a slightly different kind of writing than what's actually on offer here. Ah well. The game we could have had, right? See, look. He's a hard ass, but he gets it. This man understands. Right. Let's go see what literally everybody else has for us to do. Next in order, returning to, apparently tropical freeze. Sure, whatever. Come this far, right?
Well, to be honest, I don't remember the beginning of this side quest, but the conclusion of it apparently involves making an oven so hot it can melt an ice cave. So...
Oh, yeah, we were chasing the tropical snowmen into the cave, and they hid behind the giant ice wall that we couldn't break. And the game, like, literally broke character to tell us that, no, you can't break this wall right now. It was a whole thing. So now that we actually can get through that, we can resume. Also, this jump is curiously difficult. I don't understand what it is about that specific jump that makes it like that, but no, whatever.
Honestly, I was kind of surprised you didn't just, like, do the speedrun jump, like, as soon as it failed the first time.
I was real curious about it, so I wanted to, like, make sure I wasn't, like, misremembering actually being able to do it normally. Don't think the thought didn't occur to me. So, yeah. Double shock and wave gimmick, check.
Have you considered waiting, perhaps, in the next room, not in the cold?
Apparently not. So yeah, this whole thing seems like it's going to be the setup for some truly obnoxious puzzle work, but it's really not. There's not really much puzzling that goes on with this, although there's some. There is a non-zero amount of puzzling, but pretty light for the most part. Just a couple of trick shots. We can have a couple of trick shots as a treat. Because what we're really here to do is murder. So, we haven't fought this exact guy before, but we fought a lot of his underlings. And you can probably imagine most of the details of how this works. He really likes to hang out near the freezers. And he will get made vulnerable if you break one of them, but the only thing that really gets him is if you hit him with the oven. Also, I really wanted to one-round that phase, but nah, whatever. We set him on fire, so morally that's a one-round, right?
I'm a little disappointed the fire didn't stay through rounds.
I mean, ordinarily it would on a boss like this, but he puts up a shield that, I guess, specifically addresses that stuff. Anyway, whoops, I went too far with the fire. I guess we're gonna have to deign to fight normally for a bit.
Oh wait, does he only have 2 phases? Like...
3. The first one was very short.
I guess we must have tripped it, because yeah, I was gonna say, like, wait, hang on. It's like, this second health bar is, like, fucking massive compared to the first one.
Yeah, we just barely got that. Also, I didn't let him get away with too much of it, so you might not have noticed, but those machines do actually heal him. So watch out for that. But yeah, if you stay on top of stuff, and you are actually good about hitting him promptly with the oven, this fight will be over pretty quickly. If you don't, well, the fight will still be over pretty quickly, but, not as pleasingly. Also, you'll have to do it again, because, like, you'll die. Anyway, I don't know why we don't go back and talk to the subordinate again, since, you know, they made a whole show of her waiting for us. I don't really get what's up with that. But no, we have to come back here again.
She got cold. What else is there to say?
I mean, it makes sense. Right, yes, a lucrative venture for you, getting your operation hijacked and all your technology stolen and having to contract a seeker to bring it back. I don't think that's how that works. But definitely lucrative for us, this thing's pretty good. It's like the electrician's cap except for hot and cold instead of shock and wave. Any questions? No, I didn't think so. Also, it has 10% balance on it, so that's also nice. Winning propositions all around. Now, guess what the Adventurers Guild has for us? That's right, motherfuckers. It's more tower defense. Now with 4 elemental turrets to play with.
Okay, but what if we didn't?
Okay, but what if we did, and actually it's pretty good, and I would like people to stop complaining about this quest because it's actually good. Like, I know I keep making the joke about, yeah, it's tower defense, haha, nobody likes tower defense, but like, I can't with it anymore. This is a good quest. It's good, okay? I like it.
I mean, you're allowed to like things that are bad. No one will judge you, Fiddle.
Motherfucker. Get with the program. This is a good quest. Yeah. Anyway, it's not available from that turret. We do have to actually go through the door. So yeah, the fundamentals of this don't really call for a great deal of explanation. But the scope of it is expanded a little bit.
I like how cavalier she is about how, like, oh yeah, it's okay, you know, yeah, this'll piss the track off and it'll summon a horde of monsters to come get us, but whatever, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, we're a seeker, we can just respawn, it's all good. So anyway, yeah, the big deal here is that we've got new elements. And like literally everything else, they work in an opposed pair. There's a whole bunch of strategy to this. And yes, they do also do like slightly unique things compared to the rest of gameplay. The shock one hitting 2 enemies is nice. The big explosion and the strong homing on the wave is also nice. And they also cause the same statuses that we already know and love from the rest of the game. But yes, the big deal here is that we've got 2 paths and they're in this weird spiral pattern, and there's only so many places that we can jump between them. And also, yeah, we're getting Wiccats again. I think I mentioned before that the enemies in here are all technically distinct from the enemies we fight outside. Mostly just so they can do stat tracking differently. But yeah. We might have glanced over it a bit because we're doing this whole thing at like 4 times speed. But there is a pattern to what these guys are all weak to. And basically you use shock on the left and wave on the right. Also, we get an actual, honest to god, new enemy here. I mean, I say new enemy, it's still the cow. It's the same as the other cows, but this is the shock variety, which actually is completely unique to this minigame. There is no ordinary Tesla bovine. So these guys are a whole proposition. They've got their whole deal. They charge down the tracks at very high speed. They do a big powerful attack. They make a big trail of lightning. They're a pain to deal with. You want all your firepower on them, really. Otherwise things get a little bit dicey. Anyway, you might notice that I've kind of gone all in on shock and wave to the complete exclusion of heat and cold. And I mean, that's a tactical decision. Is it the correct tactical decision? Here you can see I finally decided to correct it, so you can judge for yourselves. Anyway, as long as you can keep up with the turret situation, this is pretty straightforward, actually. Well, right. Now, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that this later version also has a hard mode. Also, there is a unique equipment on offer here, which I don't know why this wasn't here before. But, we can get some more turret tokens and trade for it. There's no other way to get that item. It is pretty much the only thing that is actually worth saving up turret tokens for. The rest of the stuff is just like...
But is it actually good, though?
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, it might be good, but I mean, like, is it good in comparison to things that you don't have to play 5 rounds of tower defense to get?
Yeah. It's nice and tanky and it knows what it's doing. We can go back and take a better look at it, but I didn't exposit on it straight away because we haven't got it yet, but I wound up using them for a decent amount of time, actually. So, this quest is level 52, which we are a little bit below. Like the other hard mode variant, the deal is that there's no limit on the waves and the enemies gradually scale up. And they start at level 52. So, at the beginning, this is a bit of a fucker, but if you can survive the initial waves, you can pretty quickly get this into a situation where it's... well, look. We're just sat here, twiddling our thumbs, and this pretty much addresses itself. And the clincher is that if you manage to accumulate 200 energy, it will instantly be expended and all of your turrets will just upgrade themselves. And they'll deal more damage. And suddenly, the whole proposition just starts scaling along with the enemies. And there's literally nothing else to spend energy on. Now, as it happens, I chose to remain perfectly motionless and the enemies eventually managed to overwhelm the sheer force of turrets, but it's not that difficult once you survive the first couple waves to do that indefinitely. Anyway, here's our prize. Big focus, bolt caliber, and bullseye. Pretty decent.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Bolt caliber, for those who have forgotten, is the one that gives you additional knockback on your shots. It's all very offensive defense kind of stuff. So anyway, I believe I was saying before about now that we've got the gold key, there is nothing that we are definitely not supposed to be able to get. So with that in mind, I went on a little roundup, and I went and collected some stuff. Honestly, when I say I went on a roundabout, I wasn't actually just referring entirely to this room, although this room does feel like a bit of that, eventually. And yeah, I managed to get the collect every chest in Maroon Valley trophy and the collect most of the chests in the game trophy at the same time, which was fortuitous. And frankly, most of these aren't that interesting for their contents, although a couple of them are like the unique crafting stuff, so that's always notable. But the thing that really does kind of bug me about this is that most of these are just stuff. There's no real point in them not being immediately collectible. And I don't like that.
Yeah, it does seem like that if you were going to take the time to lock them behind completing half, or, you know, in the gold key case, probably closer to like 2/3 of the game, that you should probably make them worse. Like, they should probably have something that is worth making you wait 2/3 of the game to get it.
Yeah, like there should be an actual reason for doing this. Anyway, yep. Add another tally to the chart for once again breaking out the Ice Walkers for the last time. Will this actually be the last time? There's only one way to find out.
Because you say last time, but I don't believe you.
I say last time every time. What else am I gonna do? And here's one thing I might do. We can go out of bounds using some jumping techniques. The edge of the screen is it is literally the edge of terrain. You just fall off and respawn. There's nothing there. But yeah. Everything that's modelled up here is exactly how it looks. It's all valid terrain, you know, apart from the edges of the screen. But yeah, now you know how the edges work. Or rather, how they don't. But anyway, yeah, like, if you go for a typical Metroidvania thing, you can say, right, there's good reasons for making stuff only accessible by using power bombs, because that stuff is usually where the power bomb expansions are, and there's no point getting the power bomb expansions if you don't have power bombs, unless you're doing speedrunning bullshit, in which case all bets are off, but those people don't really do the usual considerations. But this stuff is all just stuff. It's very arbitrary. And yes, we can literally get armor made out of treasure chests. Don't question it.
But it makes us luckier. How could we pass that up?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty decent armor all told. There's this whole progression of the chestplate armor in this game. There is another tier beyond the golden one, but we're not going to see it for a while. I can definitely see what they went for, though. And I do, dare I say, respect it. But yeah, it's weird that they gate this stuff off. It just feels way more arbitrary than other stuff. Like, it just feels like, yeah, we wanted you to have to come back here. Why did we want you to have to come back here? Response missing.
Look, if we didn't make you come back here long after you finished it the first time, then how will you get those sweet, sweet backtracking feels?
Well, quite.
So, I mean, really, this was for you, the player.
This is actually nice, when you think about it. But yeah. Weird feels. Don't like it. Video games. Thinking about it, I'm not really sure what in this game could have justified that stuff. Like, sometimes the stuff there, like with the golden chestplate, it's really powerful late game armor, but it's just armor. They could have put that somewhere else. And since this isn't a Metroidvania, there's no equivalent to having powerbomb expansions. That stuff doesn't really work. Maybe they could have had some version of that does something, but then we're into the territory where we're like, what if the game was actually a different game? And there's not really much point to those considerations. Here's a second rough branch.
Ah, I see. So what we're going to see now, we're going to forge two sticks into one stick. Now I understand.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. Anyway, I decided to jump back to the MS Solar for a bit. As you can see, your party members comment on this, although to them it just looks like you've disappeared. And I don't know, maybe we just majorly freaked Emily out again and she thinks that the thing from the raid is happening again? I don't know exactly how this looks to them. Anyway, in a major disappointment, there is absolutely nothing to do here. Jet and the one radar operator are literally the only people who say anything even slightly different. Okay, yes, and Carla. Forgot about Carla. But yeah, there's just nothing there. Also, the ambient sounds persist for a little bit after you shift location, which is always a little bit weird. Very video games.